Ciao Pinocchio, mio Pinocchio, time has come to say farewell. 'Cause this disastrous live action remake has completely killed you. Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Steve's here, and welcome back to another video. And this is the second time that I am making a redo rant of a movie that I have previously ranted on, but I realized that it did not age well, so I decided to make a second, make a better version of the rant. First time with Minion Treasure Group as part of my Illumination reviews leading up to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and now I am going to be doing a redo rant on Pinocchio 2022, the live action remake, to be specific. I know there were three versions. The Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which in heart is the only Pinocchio movie in 2022. Pinocchio True Story, which is the Room of Animated Films, but this one, the Disney one, is what I am doing. So Pinocchio, the live action remake, is basically like the 100th remake, like countless of it. Like I believe the 15th remake, if I'm not mistaken, the 15th, yeah, and yeah, because I think this is 15 because we got the two other live action remakes this year, and there's like currently 17. So this one must be the 15th. So I'll assume the 15th, and it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, the same director who as Back to the Future and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And man, this guy has fallen from grace because this guy also directed The Witches 2020, and this film stars I always say the big cast members in it, the A-list cast members: Tom Hanks, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Cynthia Erivo, Keegan-Michael Key, Luke Evans, etc. And so basically the plot for Pinocchio, it's pretty much the same plot as the first film, where Geppetto makes a kid out of wood, which apparently turns into a real boy. And but even though I mean, like, no, not really a real boy, but I mean a living puppet, and this living puppet named Pinocchio must learn what it means to be a good boy, so that the blue fairy can reward him to become a good boy. And so the first thing that Geppetto sends Pinocchio to do, tells Pinocchio to do, is pretty much go to school, and then Pinocchio just skips school and does everything, and pretty much just gets away from school and does other things because everyone else around him tempts him to. Oh, but there's a catch to it. There is actually some changes that they made to the script. Yeah, first of all, Pinocchio does nothing wrong apparently. Well, I'll talk about that later. But Pinocchio gets kicked out of school, which, yeah, I'll talk about later. And then yeah, and he joins the circus and yada yada yada. I don't care. Yeah. You know what? I don't care. Screw it. That's basically all the plot of Pinocchio. Now, when it comes to my original rant on Pinocchio 2022, honestly, that rant sucked. Looking back at it now, that rant sucked. Yeah, that rant was too short. Like, I could have gotten into more details. I could have gotten into more details, but I don't know why. Yeah, I rewatched it, and I didn't go into details. There were so many things I forgot to mention, and worst of all, I was too generous to this movie. I'll admit that maybe I just kind of rushed it, and also I did it at like 11 p.m. like in my area time. That's when the time when I recorded and uploaded videos, like around 11 p.m. Like I'm not sure exactly that, but when I rewatch it, I noticed my bedroom aircon was on. Yeah, I recorded this in my bedroom, and I had such a very sleepy voice, like I was clearly sleepy, and I literally cut that rant short. So that it did not age well. But the more I thought about Pinocchio, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah. And I know you're thinking, oh, you only see that just because you read the reviews, and all of them are just like pretty much tearing this movie apart, and pretty much all uniting to give this a title of the worst Disney live action remake. Well, yeah, and yes, when it comes to these Disney live action remakes, they usually get mostly divisive reviews, where there will be like, this group of people who actually liked it and said it was actually a good remake, and there are others who say that these Disney remakes do not need to exist. And I'm not sure if I said this right, but I was one of those people who used to like these remakes, but now I realize that these remakes have got to stop. And it's gone up to the point where I don't even think that Disney even made these live action remakes. It's like an imposter that calls himself, it's an imposter studio that calls itself Disney. They're just trying to steal Disney classics and remaking them. And yeah, but if there's one remake that everyone, and I mean everyone, united together to actually say that this movie sucks and it's the worst, it's the Robert Zemeckis remake of Pinocchio, which I didn't even expect it to get this panned, but thank God it did, because the hate is well deserved. So back last Friday for the movie's 1 year anniversary, I decided to rewatch this movie. I decided to rewatch this movie to see how bad it truly is. If it's a bad movie with redeeming qualities and one I can kind of tolerate, or one that is as insufferable as I was thinking. And boy, after rewatching it, yep, this movie is everything, literally everything wrong with Disney remakes. Like, I can't believe I was too generous to it. Even though I never liked this movie to begin with, yeah, I don't know why I was kind to this one. I was kind to this remake. Yeah, everything about this movie is a fail. Like, this is one of the worst Disney live action remakes I have ever seen. And it's also one of the worst movies of 2022 as well. The fact, like, I think I only had this at number 9 in my top 10 worst movies 2022 based on my memory. Yeah, this was in my top 10 worst movies 2022 at number 9, where users like Harry Thomas Pictures, Jeremy Jahns, Brando Critic, some other users would put this as their number 1 worst movie 2022. Oh yeah, also Jay Pages as well. But personally, I would put this as my second worst movie of 2022. Number 1 being The Ice Age Adventures of Buckwell. And by the way, I need to redo my top 10 worst movies of 2022 at some point, because my top 10 worst movies of 2022 list is absolutely outdated. Like, my list has completely changed. So I definitely need to redo this at some point. Yeah, maybe before I do my worst movies of 2023 this in December, but we'll see about that. But or maybe before I leave to my vacation, because we'll see about that. But anyway, this and also, is this now? I got a question. Is this actually the worst Disney live action remake that everyone claims it to be? Honestly, I still think Peter Pan and Wendy is the worst Disney live action remake, but Pinocchio is a very close second, and I mean a close second. I was actually this close to calling this the worst Disney live action remake, but then I decided to watch some clips of Peter Pan and Wendy, and I realized, okay, yeah, that's still the worst Disney live action remake. Yeah, because of live action remake. But yeah, although I'll admit that back when I rewatched this movie, I didn't really fancy doing a rant, and I was like, should I do a rant on redo rant in this movie? Well, we'll see about that. But now it has decided that I am going to rant on this movie. Rant on this movie. Yep. And yeah, let me tell y'all, there is no redeeming qualities to this movie whatsoever. None at all. No redeeming qualities. Yeah. Where do I even get started with this? Now let's pretty much talk about the positives that I had last time in my first viewing last year. Yeah, let's see what the good things about this movie were, and and pretty much how it is now. So I remember saying two positives about this movie. The first one being the design, the science of the of Pinocchio and Jiminy. Like I said that they look exactly like the animated classic. Well, that is true, but in a bad way. Cause my god, the CGI looks absolutely cheap. And it looks unfinished as well. Like they could have easily used real puppets, but no, they had to CGI it, and it looked very extremely cheap. Now I understand, oh, but isn't this a Disney Plus movie, so it's not supposed to look cheap? Well, that's no excuse, because this movie had a 150 million budget, and even movies that cost less than a million, 100 million, have better looking are better looking. This so it's embarrassing for this movie. Sorry, it's just my sneeze. But it's embarrassing for this movie, for a 150 million dollar movie to look this horrendous. Not even the production design can save it. Yeah, the production design is ugly. It's ugly. Yeah, and also another positive good thing I said about this movie in my previous rant, in my old rant, is that the rendition of the songs were pretty good. Like "When You Wish Upon a Star," which was sung by the Blue Fairy. "I Got No Strings," which is my favorite Pinocchio song. Well, the original version is my favorite Pinocchio song, and I said I like what they did here, and also, "And Not This Life for Me." But no, those songs are bad now. I think those are bad songs. I didn't realize it back then. I don't know why, but yeah. "When You Wish Upon a Star" is so overtuned. Like, it's just as overtuned as no, I mean, no, sorry, auto-tuned. Yes, sorry, wrong word. But yeah, "When You Wish Upon a Star" is just as auto-tuned as Part of Your World from the Little Mermaid live action remake, and my god, like it is just horrible singing. It just makes my ear bleed. And "Not Just Like for Me," it's annoying. Like it's just cringe. Yeah, the original one is better, but oh my goodness, there are no strings in me. Yeah, in the original Pinocchio, yeah, like what I just said a second ago, "No Strings on Me" is my favorite Pinocchio song. Maybe I'm biased because they played that trailer. They played that song in the Age of Ultron trailer, representing Ultron as a quote unquote puppet, like removing the strings. So maybe I might be biased. And Age of Ultron, the teaser trailer with the "No Strings on Me" song, which by the way, that is the best rendition of the song. Is my personal favorite MCU trailer. But I just really find that song so catchy and attractive. But in this one, it is just cringeworthy. Like it's just so just incredibly annoying. Yeah, and okay, well, yeah. So yeah, those are all just me covering up the good things I said about last time and realizing that they're just bad. But yeah, let's get to all the other negatives I have, and believe me, there are endless negatives to this movie. This is there are like a thousand negatives, but let's just get the basics out of the way in this rant. Where do I even start with this? Yeah, let's start with the first 20 minutes because oh boy, the first 20 minutes is probably one of the most painful moments in the entire film. Like, first off, we start with Jiminy Cricket ruining the Disney opening fanfare logo, like with the normal Disney logo plays, and then we see Jimmy just start singing. When you wish upon your dreams. Yeah, that is how he sings. Like, oh my god. Yeah, I'm not joking. That is his singing voice. Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is one of those actors that can't sing. Yeah, really. Like, what's with these some actors and actresses like being forced to sing when they don't have the ability to sing? Like, what is that? And then, oh my god, the first 30 minutes of this movie, it is so slow and agonizing to sit through. Yes, the original Pinocchio movie was slow since it took like more than 10 minutes in an hour and 10-minute runtime to have Pinocchio, come to life. But I actually get that because it actually it's an old movie, so and I actually love old movies, especially in a time period that are slow paced. So I can forgive that, even though it's the beginning is clearly the weakest part of the first Pinocchio movie. But in this one, it's like 30 minutes, and most of it is just Geppetto just there, just sitting down or standing out, staring at nothing. And I was like, oh my god, get over it. I was like, just bring Pinocchio to life already. And you know what makes this scene feel even longer is that there are clocks. Geppetto's clocks are filled with Easter eggs, like Easter eggs of Woody, Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent, Who Framed Roger Rabbit with Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit kissing. Forgot what else I saw. Harry Thomas said that there's a Lion King Easter egg in this one, but honestly, I didn't see it. I don't know if it was even there. But yeah, like, come on, like this is the 1800s. Why would you reference like Disney movies that came way before, like way up years after this one? That just makes no sense. Makes no sense. Yeah, like what on earth are those things? Yeah, those pop culture references. Like why? And then when Pinocchio comes to life, I was like, okay, it was kind of a relief, but 1 second later, the movie still, like, you realize that the movie still doesn't improve. It's still like the same old schlock that it is earlier, and oh my goodness. And then like Geppetto and Pinocchio sing this horrible, annoying song, and also forgettable as well. Like, I don't remember what the song even was, but all I do remember is that the song was completely annoying. And then Geppetto sends Pinocchio to school, and then meanwhile, we get wolves that tell Pinocchio, hey, you're gonna be a real star someday. Oh, and also I didn't mention as well, Pinocchio sniffs up poop. Yeah, I'm sure you all know that. I've seen a lot of thumbnails. Into other YouTubers and Pinocchio rant video where they literally put Pinocchio sniffing a poop as the thumbnail. And I get that, but to me it's just a poster of the movie. Okay, what else is there to say? And also more modern pop culture references to in a movie that takes place in the 1800s. Like this is just crazy. Like, there's a scene where Honest John just says, oh, just tries to give Pinocchio a new nickname, and he calls him, one of the nicknames he just suggests is Chris Pine. Yep, Chris Pine. Really, like, Oh my god, really? Come on, man. Yeah, if you want to see a movie with a better Chris Pine joke, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, that is the one. Like, I'm sure you all remember the scene where Splinter brings in cardboards of actors named Chris, and then you got Chris Pine front and center, and then Splinter's like trying to imitate Christmas, being like, "Oh hey there, I'm the best Chris." Now that is how you do a Chris Pine joke. This movie, like, why did they have to call him Chris Pine? Like that just came out of nowhere. And Shad Ogler, like like those names that they mentioned before, Chris Pine. Is that even a real name? And then let's talk about the school scene. Yeah, one of the biggest, one of the worst changes that this movie has ever made. Yeah, ever made. Ever made. The teacher kicks the like Pinocchio actually goes inside school, and but then the teacher has a prejudice against Puppet because Pinocchio isn't a real boy, and he kicks up Pinocchio and says school is for real children only, not puppets. Puppets belong in a puppet shop. That one scene right there pretty much already tells you how bad the movie is. Yeah, that scene pretty much sets up the movie to be even worse than anyone could ever imagine. Yeah, that one scene right there, the scene where the teacher has a prejudice against Pinocchio for being a puppet, and yeah, that scene right there pretty much just like sets up the main problem with the rest of the movie. And now I'm gonna talk about my main problem with the movie. It is too safe. The movie plays itself way too safe. The 90s, 40s Pinocchio was one of Disney's riskiest movies they ever made. The whole point of the movie is to try to convey the message of Pinocchio doing really bad things during his puppethood. And then he pretty much learns what is right and wrong. He goes on a journey to learn the right and wrong things, and then in the end he decides to have a change in himself and do the right thing, so that the blue fairy can reward him by turning him into a human. But in this movie, oh my god, yeah. Apparently Pinocchio is actually already good, yeah. He apparently did nothing wrong. Pinocchio learns anything. So pretty much this movie misses the point of it, because it just wants Pinocchio to be as likable as possible. Like, did the writers of this movie even watch the original Pinocchio? Like, they just assume it's Pinocchio turning into a real boy, but then they don't know that Pinocchio is supposed to be an a-hole. Like, did they actually get that? Like this movie pretty much takes away the message. Yeah, I mean, if removing Rafiki Tang's symbol, that the past can hurt, but you can either run from it or learn from it. In the Lion King remake is bad enough. Yeah, this movie pretty much removes all the message of this movie. So you know what the message is now? None. There is no message. Pinocchio does nothing bad. He pretty much all the things that Pinocchio falls for is pretty much everyone else around him fault. If Pinocchio gets sent to the circus, it's the wolf's fault. No, technically no, it's scratch it. It's the teacher's fault for rejecting Pinocchio and not letting Pinocchio go to school. And when it comes to the Pinocchio going to Pleasure Island, it's the coachman's fault, not Pinocchio, because Pinocchio's doing, oh fine, I'll just do it just because you all want me to, but he doesn't say, oh fine, because I don't care what my father says. So yeah, he goes on a journey to learn nothing. Oh, and by the way, that Pleasure Island scene looks absolutely ugly. Like, oh my goodness, that Pleasure Island scene, oh my god, like, it just blinds my eyes. It's just painful to look at in the eyes. Yeah. And yes, and now, like the word that I would use to describe a Pinocchio in this movie. Now this is a description, a word or a term that I personally do not like to hear. A lot of people tend to use this as a criticism, like obsessively uses as their criticism for a movie, for a movie that pretty much has a I mean a movie with a main character having no flaws. But I'm sorry, I have to say this about Pinocchio. Pinocchio, this movie is a freaking Mary Sue. Yep, he is a Mary Sue. Yes, Mulan from the Mulan live action remake is a Mary Sue as well, because she pretty much already learns the skills in a snap of a finger without having to train hard or struggle, which takes away the emotional depth of it. Yeah, that's basically exactly what they did to Pinocchio. Yeah, they made Pinocchio a Mary Sue. Yeah, because Pinocchio is already as perfect as he is. He has no character flaws. He has no character flaws. Yeah, no flaws. Yeah, and so it just sucks. And also not to mention, we don't see, like, remember in the original Pinocchio where Disney would have the balls to include Pinocchio smoking, well, Pinocchio did drink beer in this one, but he only drank like 10% of the beer, so I don't know if that counts. But Pinocchio, they never smoke, and not to mention they censored that one swear word, which I don't want to say because there's I have parents around the house. I don't want to hear them say me swear, but pretty much the A word. They censored that, even though they kept it in the original. Just why? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? And yeah, this movie is incredibly boring and agonizing to sit through. Yeah, people complain about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio being slow paced, but I've rewatched this movie like 3+ times now. I think 5 times, if I'm not being mistaken, 4 or 5, and never once was I bored with it. Yeah, even that movie had far faster pacing than this movie, because you care about everything that is going on in that movie, but in this version you care about nothing, because yeah, it's pretty much just the same tiresome story, and it just and it does nothing entertaining. It just puts you to sleep. Yeah, this is one of the most boring Disney live action remakes I have ever seen. I already talked about how slow the first 20 minutes is, but trust me, there is not a single scene that's worth entertaining. The whole time you're just waiting for the movie to end. And oh boy, let's talk about the acting in this movie. The acting, yep. Now the one performance in this movie that everyone loves to trash and roast is Tom Hanks as Geppetto. Oh my goodness. Could they get an Italian actor to play a Geppetto? Yeah, but no, they had to pick up an actor that everyone knows about. So yeah. Yeah, everyone knows about because he's an A-list star. Like, who cares who cares about if the actor's popular or not? Like, Tom Hanks is a terrible choice for Geppetto, and this is the lowest of lows that Tom Hanks has ever been on. I can't believe people say Tom Parker from Elvis is Tom Hanks' worst performance. Really, like people hate on him and Elvis, and even Tom Hanks even won the Razzies for worst supporting actor for Elvis, but that's crazy talk. Tom Hanks should have won the Razzies for Geppetto, not for this movie, not Elvis. So that is the wrong Tom Hanks role, which is one reason why the Razzies just effed up last year, or should I say this year, because the Razzies happened earlier this year, if I'm not being mistaken. if I'm not being mistaken. And even the other alien stars are completely waste or put to waste. Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who pretty much has his cringe-worthy accent as Jiminy Cricket. Oh, hi there. My name is Jiminy Cricket. Yes, it's how I sound the entire time. Yeah, that is Jiminy Cricket in a nutshell. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you're a great actor. Why do you put yourself through this? Like, yeah. Oh, sorry, I dropped something, but yeah. If you want to see a better Joseph Gordon-Levitt role, well, you got Inception in your hands. Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and also 50/50 and 50 and The Walk, which that movie was my introduction to Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a character. Yeah, he has great roles. That's why I hope that I'm glad that no one's like seeing this as his most recognizable role. So that's great. Cynthia Erivo as the very godmother, which was pretty much which caused controversy. Which is pretty much the Halle Bailey Ariel as of this movie. And honestly, she makes Halle Bailey's Ariel look good in comparison. Yeah, I take Halle Bailey's performance as Ariel over Cynthia Erivo's performance as the Blue Fairy. Yeah. And also, not to mention, yeah, the Blue Fairy is my favorite character in Pinocchio. In the first movie, just let you know, she's just the most sweet and likable character, and she is and she is gorgeous as well. But yeah, Cynthia Erivo was clearly miscast as the Blue Fairy, not just because she's black, but I can name a dozen of reasons as to why. I just don't see her as the role. If I were to personally choose if I were to personally cast the Blue Fairy, a more accurate Blue Fairy, that I would personally pick Amanda Seyfried as the Blue Fairy. Now that is a perfect casting. Like an actress who actually does embody the Blue Fairy, who could embody the Blue Fairy and has a good singing voice. And yes, Cynthia Erivo's singing voice. I talk about how cringe and auto-tune that When You Wish Upon a Star is, and Luca Vance as well. I mean, come on, Luca Vance. I defend like this. Luca Vance is actually one actor who he starred in literally two Disney live action remakes. The first time being Gaston and Beauty and the Beast, which Luca Vance was a perfect Gaston. Like Luca Vance was such a perfect Gaston. Like at least Luca Vance so far. Yeah, I feel like Luca Vance's Gaston is one of the best things about. It is one of the best things as in any Disney live action remake. But yeah, him in this movie, he's wasted and yeah, this is worst performance. Period. Period. Yeah, who agrees with me that Bard from the Hobbit trilogy, the Hobbit sequels to be specific, is Luca Vance's best role ever. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. And there was also a scene where there's a scene with Monstro, which by the way, in the original Pinocchio, Monstro was supposed to be set up like there are like people who were talking about Monstro as a big giant whale whale like the scariest whale on earth, and so you really like dread to see this whale. But in this movie, you literally forget that the Monstro was supposed to be in this, and he looks like a kaiju instead of a whale. Like why? Why? And also, by the way, one thing I forgot to mention about the visuals is that there was like in the scene where Pinocchio was pushing the boat that the Geppetto and all the other main characters are on like Jiminy and the fish and Chiao the cat. Pinocchio pretty much kicks the water so like a Dash, like he's trying to be like he's mocking Dash, like trying to like speed the like kick the water while getting away from the whale. Moncho gets close to Pinocchio before eating him for the second time, eating like everyone for the second time. But when Pinocchio kicks up faster and then like he zooms in the camera, you can see that it looks so obvious, like unfinished. Like, oh my god, like that was clearly unfinished. Yeah, if you see the movie for yourself, see that scene in particular, just notice that. Look closely at Pinocchio speeding up. Yeah, you'd see how unfinished it is. Yeah, unfinished it is. Yeah. And I swear to God, it looked worse than PS1 graphics. Oh yeah, and also like another unnecessary change they did in this. Yeah, remember like you know those Disney live action remakes where they unnecessarily include a new character who serves a no purpose. Their remakes only for the remake to just have more characters. For example, in Aladdin, in the Aladdin remake, they brought in Dahlia, who is a Jasmine's handmaid, but she's there for no reason. While in this one, they brought in the group up, and who I don't even remember the name, who is apparently Pinocchio's love interest. Like, does Pinocchio even not need a love interest? Love interest? Yeah, I have a feeling. Like they were just forcing in Pinocchio to have a love interest just because it's a Disney movie, and all Disney movies that need the main character to have a love interest. No, that's not it. Yeah, not all of them would do. I mean, even some Disney princess movies have no love interest, like Moana, Moana. Like she's a Disney princess who doesn't have a love interest. And based on what I've heard from Wish so far, there's no sign of Asha getting a love interest. We'll see if she actually does end up getting a love interest in the actual film, but right now, no. So, Pinocchio getting a love interest is just forced and completely shoehorned in. But now we get to the biggest middle finger of the movie, the most disgraceful scene in the entire film, the ending. Yeah, you gotta know the anticlimactic ending where instead of Pinocchio dying and Geppetto trying to save his life, and Geppetto mourning, it's the other way around. Geppetto dies and Pinocchio mourns for him because Pinocchio doesn't even save him. He just pretty much breaks him to the shore and he's already drowning and Pinocchio just cries about it. It's very similar to in the climax of Frozen 1 where Anna froze to death and quote unquote dies, and then you got Elsa mourning for her and then suddenly Anna comes back to life. Now despite being a little harsh and Frozen on Frozen 1, despite my criticism, at least I felt that. At least I felt, that scene in Pinocchio in this remake. I don't feel that they copied the Frozen, that scene in Frozen where Pinocchio's magic apparently saves a Geppetto's life. Yeah, apparently that's the thing. But here's what really ruined the ending and the movie as a whole. Pinocchio doesn't turn into a real boy. What on earth? Are you serious? That is just disgraceful. That is one of the worst endings I have ever seen in a film. So basically how this ends is Pinocchio and Geppetto walk away while Pinocchio is still pretty much still a wooden boy. And then now yes, I know you're gonna say, but Pinocchio did turn into a real boy. You just didn't pay attention. Well, yes, I did see the transformation, but Pinocchio's legs are turning real and arms. But it's only showing us as an Easter egg where a movie be like, oh, you gotta pay attention to it. Oh, you gotta pay attention to see that Pinocchio is actually a real boy. But does anyone even want to pay attention because of how, after all the agony that people had to sit through, they just see that Pinocchio didn't turn into a real boy and just be like, okay, that's done. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, and apparently based on this movie, Pinocchio turning into Pinocchio being a real boy is apparently a metaphor, like a freaking metaphor. Like, Gemini just says the ending lines. Oh, Pinocchio may still be a wooden puppet. Oh yeah, no, before that, he says that Pinocchio turning into a real boy is just a rumor, which is not, like he says that Pinocchio turning into a real boy is all like this audience is making rumors like we've seen the original Pinocchio, we know that Pinocchio turns to a real boy, and Jiminy's saying that it's basically him saying, oh, our Pinocchio live action remake is the true Pinocchio adaptations, forget the classic. Yeah, that's what he's trying to say, I guarantee you. And he says Pinocchio, like, it's not really like, who knows if Pinocchio is a real boy, just if they're a real boy. But even though he's still a puppet, he is a real boy at heart. Yeah, metaphor. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, Pinocchio, like, even if he's a real boy at heart while still being a puppet, that he still wouldn't be accepted by society. Like, he'd still get kicked out of from the school. So, like, he needs to turn into a real boy physically so that Pinocchio can actually live a life. Real boy heart, nah, that doesn't work. Metaphor, like, being a real boy metaphorically wise, that doesn't work. My God, and that doesn't work. And yeah, oh my goodness, yeah, and yeah, that ending, yeah, like, why would Disney even like remove the ending of one of the most important massive, like the whole point of the movie, the ending, which is supposed to be the most important part, is removed. Yeah, it's like basically saying it in the Beauty and the Beast remake, where the Beast doesn't get to turn into a prince and stays as the Beast forever, because apparently the Beast is a man at heart. Yeah, imagine that happened. Well, thankfully at least the Beast got to turn into a prince. But yeah, Pinocchio not turning into a real boy because he's a real boy at heart. It's just basically the equivalent of Beast not turning into a prince back into a prince because he is a prince at heart. Yeah, which is nonsense. Oh boy, wow, what a travesty this was. That's all I guess I gotta say about this. I guess I said everything. Oh yeah, also I forgot to mention that Seagull, who just is unnecessarily in this. I like, why is this Seagull? Is there a seal character who just tries to be important to the plot but apparently isn't? Oh boy. So yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm concluding right now. So overall, yeah, Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio movie is one of the most disgraceful Disney live-action remakes that I have ever seen. In fact, maybe this could be the worst Disney live-action remake, but I'll have to think about it. Right now, I'm still sticking with Peter Pan and Wendy, and yeah, Peter Pan and Wendy, but I'll have to reflect on it at some point. But like, after all that rambling, it just got me thinking, this movie just gets worse the more I think about it. And I'm glad I got to realize now how irredeemable this movie is. Yeah, good God, yeah. So with that said, Pinocchio, the Disney live action remake of Pinocchio, clearly gets a 1 out of 10. What else did you expect? Yeah. So for my rant on Pinocchio, yeah, now this is the proper Pinocchio rant I needed to do after that outdated rant I did last year. So yeah, what is your opinion on Pinocchio? What are your thoughts on Pinocchio? Are you a defender of the film, or are you with me that this movie is atrocious? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review of the Equalizer 1 and 2. Leading up to the Equalizer 3, which I am going to be seeing this Sunday. So yeah, bye guys.